Hi, thank you for letting me share this story with you, even though I'm not able to be in the room for the Air Quality Working Group. As many of you will be experiencing the coming days, there are many places to be at the same time. So I am using the magic of recordings and Teams calls to be able to share this story with you about making the invisible visible, little project that we've been doing in Leiden that bring art and science and citizen science together in an air pollution investigation. And it all starts with the question, indeed, how do you make the invisible visible? Something we tend not to think about very much unless we can see it or we can smell it, the air quality around us, especially if we're lucky enough to live in an area where it's not the top of the news how bad the air quality is. This was a question that an artist called Robin Price asked, and he's our partner from the University of Birmingham, and he's not only a scientist himself, but also a tinkerer and somebody that asks interesting questions about what if we did this and what if we did that. And he had the inspiration to make the air quality more visible by using photography and a open lens light painting technique with digital cameras. He named the initiative the Air of the Anthropocene. And with him, it was a partnership between an environmental scientist at the University of Birmingham, Francis Pope, who lent him some air quality sensors to play with, and he rigged them up to send the air quality measurement information to an LED strip that allowed him to walk in a location slowly, holding this LED strip with his digital camera set up with a long shutter time, and the data translated in the background of the photo. And here you can see some of the photos that he's taken with this technique. These photos were then, as part of their partnership, and especially with Francis Pope doing a lot of research on air quality in particular cities in India and Africa, these were used to share in marketplace discussions about how local businesses, local city planners, local decision makers could address air quality issues in the places that they are at. And here you can see he was using quite a high-end sensor kit in the beginning, and he developed the code to translate the air quality measurements to the LED strip. And this is one of his most impactful photos. It's in Port Talbot, Wales, in front of the Tata Steel plant that's there. But the photo's taken in a football field right in the community. And it's this classic tension between the economic need and the health need, and even the nature need and well-being. But Robin, as the artist, was also choosing the location of the photos. So he was also using his artistic eye, and together with Francis, they were setting the agenda and setting the discussion agenda. Here you can see it up close. So it's quite a density of light spots in there that are indicating a really poor air quality. So a high measurement of particulate matter using the PM. It's a 2.5 PM sensor. So Robin and Francis did this in a number of places in India and Africa. And this particular photo on the right, I want to highlight to you. Here you see a really high level of particulate matter that's been measured. But here Robin also had a question to ask about the artistic integrity of the photo and the aesthetics of the photo. So on the left-hand side, he took the photo during the day. So it's a real-time measurement, and it shows how bad the air quality is. But as a photo, it's much harder to interpret. So on the right, he took an air quality measurement during the day, during a peak air pollution moment, and then sent that data to the light painter at night when he had the dark contrast for the background. So now you really see the density. But this opened up a question about also, are you manipulating the data? Are you manipulating the photo? Or do you choose the aesthetic storytelling power to still show a real data measurement? Here you can see these a little bit more up close. And just the density here makes it look like a curtain, but that's him walking with the LED stick. And they also have raised questions about indoor air pollution and where air gets trapped in open structures in the city. Once again, you can see the power of the story. And these have been hung in galleries to move the discussion forward, and in the marketplaces to have these conversations publicly with members of the community. So together with because the University of Leiden has a partnership in our university alliance with the University of Birmingham, and Francis and Robin got in touch with me with the Citizen Science Lab to ask what would happen if we opened this up and made it much more of a citizen science initiative. What if we could put this photo technique in the hands of individuals? So they came and spent some time with me in Leiden, and I learned how to build the sensor kit. So those of you with knowledge in the room will spot the 2.5 Nova sensor there, and a little an Arduino, and it's the Arduino Uno, and there's the Raspberry Pi Uno, and they're all hooked together to translate the data that the sensor takes to send it to a light to an LED strip and interpret that in the frequency of light. And we held a weekend-long activity with people in Leiden. We invited them based on their interest in air quality issues. We opened with a knowledge cafe where the two environmental scientists together with Robin talked about their research together, talked about their project together, about the impact these photos had so far. Together, we built the LED strips, the light painters, which are basically a really long LED strip taped together on two sides so that there's and held together on a extractable fishing rod to hold them up and walk. And we practiced the technique with each other. So there's the sensor on this gentleman's arm, and he's walking in front of the cameras, and we all practiced taking photos in the room. And we had conversations about where we would want to go to take the photos. And that's what we did the next day on the Saturday. We did a photo expedition in the city, starting with a little bit of practicing with each other again. And people chose where they wanted to go to take the photos. So here on the right, you see two people standing outside our university research hospital. And here are the photos that they took because they wanted to know how good is the air quality right in front of the hospital where we care about healthcare. And they took a photo quite close to where somebody was standing smoking. So also making this juxtaposition of it's supposed to be a place of health, but people come out of the hospital to stand there and smoke. And then on Sunday, we gathered together again to take a look at the photos that had been taken, have conversations with each other about the location, the data that was shown, the aesthetics of the photo. We also had a local physician come and talk to us about the health impacts of poor air quality. And we had a sensor building workshop, so people received sensors from us to hang up at their own homes and do data monitoring of air quality in their own area. Some people chose to hang them inside, some people chose them outside. So we've got a nice little starter network here in Leiden that are measuring air quality. We've taken this on the road a couple of times. So we, with the local grassroots citizen science community, we also ran this workshop. Built another air pollution kit together, did some practicing out in the back. Here's a photo of what the air quality at that moment looked like. But one of my tricks is I also bring some incense with me to just really see if you put a lot of particulate matter in the air, what does it look like? And one person at the workshop was joking around and said, oh, well, I'll use my cigarette. He was standing outside smoking. So he walked back and forth a few times, and that was the photo. You can see that the person walked a little bit quickly with the LED strip. So we've got elongated dots instead of fine dots. And and together with all the people that took photos with us, we made a selection of photos to bring to a science and culture event in Leiden that happens every year called the Night of Discoveries. And we had a little exhibition there of a selection of photos that the participants themselves chose. So here's us setting up. We had a live action poster asking people a few questions about air quality and their thoughts about it, which they answered by putting little sticky dot stickers on the map. And you can see we've got a screen there. We put together an interactive screen that looks like this. This is the website URL. And all of the photos taken by our participants have been given a spotlight on the map where the photo was taken. And if you click on that, it pops up the photo that was taken. And where we had the actual air quality measure, we've put in the data, but most times we didn't because not all of the kits were capturing the actual measurement. But here, for example, somebody chose a location of a busy road right in front of a daycare center. So pushing the story about what's the air quality like right in front of these places with vulnerable exposure. And here's another photo that was taken in a public gardens where people have allotments. The photo at the bottom is facing towards an empty area of the allotments, and the photo at the top is turned around at the same spot, but facing a barbecue. So these are particulate matter that you can now see from the barbecue. And one of our participants came up with a digital technique, and I'm going to have to tell you about that another time because it's also a wonderful project, but a way of taking the data and digitally imposing it on the photo. So during that night, we were in We were in a building on the Hortus Botanicus, the Botanical Gardens of Leiden, and people coming in from this art and science event were engaging with the screen. They were telling us places where they find it is important to measure, to take photos or to know more about air quality. And they got into conversations with our selected photos. So this is the project that we're now looking to scale up. We're still fine-tuning the kits. We're asking for funding. We've been putting in funding applications to be able to build more kits, and we hereby invite you to come and have a play with us. So Hester, I hope you're waving in the room to everybody and inviting them to get in touch with me. If you would like to find out more about this, please ask Hester for my email address, and we look forward to having some more fun experiments around the world. Thanks. Bye.